stuff you like. You can call me Ursa, and I kind of have mixed feelings about Christmas. On the one hand, you know, Jesus and Advent and presents, and I do like tinsel and carols. But on the other hand, stress and shopping and truly terrible Christmas-themed movies, and really, though, really, why are we now having Christmas music in November? No. On the other hand, though, man, I really love Love Actually. But it's so sentimental. But there's an octopus. But it's so schmaltzy. But Hugh Grant is Prime Minister. But, oh, who am I kidding? I love it too much. Yeah, okay, so you remember how I said that Shaun of the Dead is Love Actually but with more blood? Okay, so Love Actually is Shaun of the Dead but with less blood, and so that makes it better, from my perspective at least. Other people may sit down and watch, you know, The Sound of Music to get them in the Christmas mood, which is something that I've never understood, I have to say. But me, Doctor Who and Love Actually. Now in a normal episode, this is the point where I would say, the plot, it goeth thusly, except there kind of isn't a plot. What there is in its place is a series of interconnected subplots and repeated use of the word actually. I was going to try and give a rundown of all the interconnected subplots, but I'll just put it on my blog. And then if you're really interested in how I would summarise the plot of Love Actually, you know, you can go read it. Regardless, the film is about love. Mostly, it has to be said, romantic love, though they do have some other kinds of love, you know, sort of thrown in there as well. There's unrequited love, there's friendship love, there's falling in love with someone else when you're already in a relationship with someone. Bad, Alan Rickman. No, I know she's throwing herself at you, but that is no excuse. There's family love, found family love, obligations in love, first love, falling in love at work, especially when you really shouldn't, losing loved ones, and Titanic as a cure for all ills. Notably absent are boys falling in love with boys and girls falling in love with girls, and female friendship love.
And what does he feel about you?
She doesn't even know my name.
Look, movie, if you're happy enough to ask whether or not someone is gay as if it's normal, then why not use one of your interminable subplots as a gay romance? Not one of the miserable ones either, where everybody dies at the end. No, one of the nice happy ones, where everyone is cheerful and eats turkey. I mean, some people might count the Billy and his manager subplot, but I don't, because their love is deep and platonic and beautiful, and we'll be coming back to that in a minute. Because instead of talking about the entirety of the plot, we're just going to talk about the three subplots that I find most interesting. We've got Carl and what's-her-name who's got a brother, Trelawney and Snape's failing relationship, and again, Billy and his manager. One of the reasons I like Love Actually so much is that it does try to portray a wide variety of ways that we love. We love selflessly, we love selfishly, we love unrequitedly, we love platonically. I mean, yes, as I mentioned, it does fail to include, like, a gay subplot or a female friendship subplot, but it does include some things that you don't generally see in films, and for that I am, you know, grateful. So to Bill Nighy and his manager. Billy and his manager have been trying for years to, you know, break back into the music business, and now they're doing it with a cover of Wet Wet Wet's Love Is All Around Me, but they're making it into a Christmas song.
I feel it in my fingers, I feel it in my toes, yeah. Christmas is all around me.
Yes. And they do manage to get the Christmas #1, which is lovely for them, and then Bill Nighy goes to a party with Elton John, and then he comes back and there's this whole declaration of how much he loves his manager and how great their friendship is. I mean, they've been together for mumblety decades. They understand each other. Their friendship is, in spite of Billy's best efforts, deep and meaningful, and also in spite of the fact that they are English and thus kind of emotionally constipated, their friendship and their love for each other is very real. With that being said, it's not really that uncommon either. I mean, there are loads of bromances already available to us in film. Sherlock and John, Holmes and Watson, Frodo and Sam, two dudes, especially two, you know, relatively attractive white dudes, are allowed to be besties in film and get a lot of screen time. Less common is the friendship between Emma Thompson and Liam Neeson, where they've obviously been friends for years, but there's no romantic tension there. They're allowed to be, you know, friends with each other without, at the end of the film, Emma Thompson dumping Alan Rickman and running off with the grieving widower. Being just friends when you're a man and a woman who aren't related to each other in a mainstream film is relatively rare, so I was, you know, pleased by the inclusion of that. Alan Rickman and Emma Thompson's story, and I kept writing Emma Watson in the script, which is a terrible, terrible Freudian slip, but never mind. It's pretty damn heartbreaking. So there's a young lady at Alan Rickman's work who keeps throwing herself at him and telling him how much she wants him and how amazing he is and whatever, and he is clearly, you know, tempted by this, and he buys her a very expensive necklace for Christmas. And he would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for those meddling kids, or if it hadn't been for his wife looking in his pocket and going, ooh, an expensive necklace, and then not receiving said expensive necklace. I mean, the present he got her was very thoughtful, but that's not really the point, is it? And while they managed to express cordiality towards each other at the end, I would note Emma Thompson's post-traumatic stress haircut and makeover and wonder if they didn't get divorced after all. Even if it is sad, I do like having them in the film because not all stories end happily, and equally, not all stories end when the credits roll. I mean, that's half the point of fanfiction, isn't it? Speaking of fanfic and stories that didn't end happily, I really, really hope that Laura Linney and Rodrigo Santoro's characters actually do manage to get it together after the credits roll, because I kind of feel for those crazy kids. Well, their subplot goes that Laura Linney has been desperately in love with Rodrigo Santoro for quite some time, but neither of them have done anything about it. And then they do something about it, but Laura Linney has a brother with special needs. It is very admirable, the way that Laura Linney loves her brother, and she should love her brother, and she should look after her brother, and that's a really good thing, but to the exclusion of everything else in her life is not going to help. Not in the long term. I do wish they had given her brother a name, even if I wouldn't have been using it in this review because I can't remember any of the characters' names except for Carl. The thing is, it's just kind of a horrible situation in which there isn't a nice, clean, right answer. Family. It's important. It's one of the things that makes Christmas so hard if you've lost someone, because whether you're celebrating the religious holiday or the secular holiday, it's still all about family and friends and sharing love with each other. Man, this got really depressing. I hope I told you these were the subplots I found most interesting, not the ones I liked the best, otherwise you'll think I'm addicted to misery. Merry Christmas, or winter solstice, or bank holiday of a festival you don't celebrate, and I will see you in the new year, probably, for a review of the Doctor Who Christmas special and the new season of Sherlock. I mean, yes, I know the 8th Doctor came back before Sherlock did, but never mind. See you soon.